Hello, everyone. Have to get over, I've got a few nerves. I've been leading up to this event for a long time, and I thank you all for coming. My name is Jennifer MacInnis Moore, but hard to be here in my hometown and say Jennifer Moore. For those of you who don't know, I grew up in Port Hood, and for everyone that knows me and my family, and these gals here, we spent most of our childhood on the ice as part of a thriving female hockey league here in the 90s and 2000s. And oddly enough, I'm back at CBU, and I have a couple of memories when I go through campus of playing hockey, summer camps at CBU as a young girl. And anyway, so it's now years later, I'm the lead research assistant for Dr. Bettina Callary here at Cape Breton University. And we're working on a series of projects to promote and develop girls and women's hockey. So how did this happen? Well, I decided to pursue my academic goals when my youngest son started school. I was pretty skeptical about going back as a mature student, pretty terrified, actually. I have 4 boys and life is busy, so you can imagine I was in a rush when I started to finish my degree and get things done as quickly as possible. But I met Dr. Callary here, and our first research project really changed everything for me. I'm in my 3rd year now, heading into my 3rd year and final year, Bachelor of Arts Community Studies degree at Cape Breton University. I'm no longer in a rush to leave. And I've been fortunate enough to work on the groundbreaking research on the first ever home of girls, women's, and para-hockey in Canada in the world, which is the new university at Cape Breton University. Or the new arena, my apologies, at Cape Breton University. So I guess, in a sense, it feels like, they say things are meant to be. It kind of came full circle. And so today, we are celebrating and uncovering the hidden history of women's hockey on the island. And where better than starting right here in Port Hood. Jane Arnold here at the Beaton Institute and Dr. Bettina Callary, we came up with the idea, Dr. Bettina Callary is actually the director of the Institute in Community and Sport and Health, brought up the idea of a storytelling roadshow. And yes, I was pretty pumped about that. And we have quite a bit of an archival silence, as many of you have been helping me out over the last couple of months in a tremendous way. But we have a gap there that there's not a lot that young girls or students of research or anybody can go and find anything about the thriving hockey that has happened here for decades. So we need these stories so that we can share how rich our history is. You will notice the stories we're going to hear today are being recorded, but this is because this event is doubling as a project to develop, a research collection on women's ice hockey involvement in Cape Breton for both the Chestico Museum and the Beaton Institute. The roadshow, we also plan to travel to Bedeck and Sydney in the future, collecting some more stories from many other women. And many of you have already given us loan for digital scanning to further expand our archives, so thank you so much for that. And so I just want to say thank you so much for coming today. To Joanne Watts, manager of the Chestico Museum here, thank you for helping make this event possible. To Jane Arnold, the Beaton Institute, Dr. Bettina Callary, Cape Breton University, for your vision. Thank you for hiring me. And to Chris Jones from the Center for Cape Breton Studies for recording the event for us. So I also want to say a huge thank you to my MC, Sandy Batherson, and my wonderful panelists. We could do these roadshows a million times in Inverness County and still have a tremendous amount of gals that could tell stories. So thank you to Chantelle MacLellan, Ambrah MacNeil, and Melissa Cummings. We are expecting Leanne MacDonald, so if Leanne shows up, I'm just going to whisk her up to the front. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Sandy to get us started. Thanks.
All right. All right. Thank you to my friend Jen, who coerced me into doing this on Murphy's Palm Beach. Even though I'm home on vacation. That's all right. Anyway, there's a big fee involved in this. I just want to say hello and thank you to everyone. Joanne Watts lovingly put a picture of me on Facebook this morning from 1998 when I worked here at the Chestico Museum. And it's come a long way, like air conditioning, which was not available to us back then. So I hope you all enjoy it. As Jen said, my name is Sandy Batherson. No one here knows me as anything but Sandy Batherson. I am married to a Campbell from Southwest Mabou. So I am technically hyphenated, but here I am Sandy Batherson, so we'll go with that. All of these ladies at one point in my life, we all took the ice sometimes against each other with much hatred. Much hatred. Anyway, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's only been like 20-some years ago, but that's okay. I'm still okay with it. So we all played hockey together at some point. I look around the room and see all the wonderful people who I played with or who helped coach or guided us into making women's hockey a great thing here in Cape Breton Island. And we are just reminiscing, we think, because we're getting older, but we think it was 1991. We had played a couple of years of ringette here in Port Hood. And we got a little upset because we're like, we want to play hockey. The boys get to play hockey. And, we're stubborn women from Cape Breton, so we got our way. And we're pretty certain that Robert MacDonald and my dad, Tommy Batherson, and Alec Chooch MacDonald were our first coaches. And 3 very good coaches, very good hockey-minded men. And they built a love for hockey in us that continued on for many, many years. So Karina and I, luckily, not because we were, well, I should speak for myself, not because I was skilled, but because we were there and we loved hockey. We got to play university hockey at St. Mary's. Chantelle played university hockey. Ambrah, I think you played university hockey as well. And we were, Karina was also a part of it. Yeah, and Melissa was part of it, sorry. And Melissa, we got to play Marshall War Cops here as well. And we got to play in the first AUAA hockey here in Nova Scotia, and we won. And no, you didn't get, no, Karina did, yes, but you were on our team to start off. Yes, she was. That's another story for another time, yeah. She was failing out. No, just joking. Anyway, so we ended up flying to Montreal, and we played CIAUs in Montreal, and we got whooped. I mean, whooped. Very, very badly. But what was, TSN was there, and it was such a great event. So we're just so proud of what came from a dream of ours to these lovely ladies that are sitting in front of you who have done so many marvelous things for women's hockey in this area. And it's expanded across the province, right? And it's everywhere. It's in all over where I live now in Alberta. I moved to Alberta in 2004 to teach, and I'm still there, but we still have a home here in Cape Breton, and I'm still a Cape Bretoner, hands down. 20 years later, I'm still from Cape Breton, and then I'm just living in Alberta and making money there. That's okay. That's good. So I'm just going to, because it's not about me, I'm going to get these lovely ladies to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to ask some questions. And if, they're not talking too much, because they all love the microphone, just dying to get it. If we have time, we'll get the chance for if any of you have questions that you would like to ask of these lovely ladies, and you can do that. All right. So I'll hand it off first to my classmate forever. We started school together in 45,000 years ago at PHC. And Chantelle and I were in the same class almost our entire lives. So it's an honor for me to pass the microphone to Chantelle Holly.
Thank you, Sandy. So I am Chantelle MacLellan. I was a Holly, and just for the record, I was not gifted with the public speaking of my father. Anyways, I don't know how I get roped into doing these things. But anyways, yeah, so I live here in Port Hood, and I'm a teacher at Bayview. I have 4 daughters. Like Sandy said, we started hockey in 1991, so I was 12 when we started. Then we played all the way through. We got to play together all the way through. And then once I went to Dalhousie, Tanya, I see her in the stand. She took me under her wing and asked me if I wanted to come out and try out for the Dalhousie team. So thank God she did. It was a wonderful experience. So I played my 4 years at Dal, and I still play today. So I get to play once a week in Port Hawkesbury, and I play ringette now too. Ringette's back. Jana McIsaac, I see her in the stands here. So she brought back ringette to Mabou. So I'm fortunate enough to get to play ringette, which I absolutely love as well. So it's great. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ambrah MacNeil, and I'm from Mabu, well, Glenora Falls specifically. And I live on Alma Dam with my family, with my 2 boys and my partner. And I still continue to play hockey today, sometimes alongside these ladies and sometimes against them, which is not as fun. And so I'm super happy to be up here. And to be honest, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome because I thought, oh my God, like the caliber of hockey that these 2 play. And but every panel needs a little underdog. So I'll gladly play that role. Because I play against Chantelle now sometimes, and Chantelle's probably one of the hardest working hockey players I've ever played with, and we got to play 1 year at Dalhousie. Well, I played 1 year at Dalhousie, and she still plays with that level of intensity. But now there's like 1 or 2 carbon copies of her on the ice when we play because her daughters play as well. Melissa also plays. We never got to play together, but we get to play together now, sometimes against each other. And Melissa has this ability to be on the bench and talk about, like she's psyched to retire. But then she like jumps on the ice and plays the most physical game of hockey. But anyway, so I'm super happy to be here. I love the game. I started playing when I was about 12, I think. Hey, so I played 4 years, or I figure skated for 4 years before that. And when I realized that career wasn't going anywhere, I decided to start playing hockey. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So I'm Melissa Cummings, and 2 wonderful girls to follow here. But I am a teacher at Dalbray Academy for the last 24 years. Seems like a long time. I played hockey probably since I was maybe 14. We had the first girls hockey provincials at Mabu in 1992. And it was quite a fun experience. Some faces here that probably played. I live in Mabu. I'm married with 2 boys. My first boy graduated 2 years ago, and I have 1 graduating next year. Lots of fun. I went to St. Mary's and played 4 years there. My very last year was the year that they went, or the year prior was the year that you guys, Sandy, went to CIS. So it's kind of heartbreaking, but exciting at the same time because I missed it's too old, I guess. So now I play hockey with these ladies and lots of ladies in the audience. And I also coach Dalbray Academy for I coached for probably 12 years. So in and out of the last while. So lots of fun and still play a little bit. Last year was not as busy for me, but we got back at it at the end of the year. So great.
All right, so for those of you who don't understand, maybe, there's a lot of locals, but if you're not from this area, Port Hood had a team, Mabu had a team, Inverness had a team, and there was giant rivalries. I don't think there's any other way. And you hated Mabworth, and you hated Invernessers, and there's bitterness. There's still bitterness. I'm not gonna lie. There's some bitter moments for me, but that's okay. Anyway, I married a Mabworth, so there you go. That's karma. Karma coming out to get me. I think we're gonna begin. I'm gonna ask some questions. I think if you can play hockey like these ladies are, like they look like they're still in their 20s. Like, wow, impressive ladies to look at. So play hockey. It's good for your body and mind and whatever. Keeps you youthful. All right, so we were saying, like, when we were growing up, going to Sydney was huge. That was a huge trip, right? And so provincials being in Sydney, you got to stay in a hotel and eat out, and so exciting. And now it's just like going to Sydney is just an everyday thing, right? But for us, it was such a huge deal. So I'm going to ask you ladies, first off, where did you enjoy playing the most? If you're going out to the rink, what hockey rink did you like to go to the most? Start with you, Chantelle Holly. Chantelle MacLellan. Oh, to my, oh, there we go. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
My favorite rink, I'm going to say I like the hometown small arenas. It makes a difference. My kids get to play all over Nova Scotia, all over Atlantic provinces, really. But there's nothing better than the hometown rinks. Port Hood rink, the Mabo Arena as well. We know that the crowds that we used to get all the time, we can jam-pack the arenas, and there's nothing like it. So I'm going to say the hometown rink definitely outbeats all those big civic centers.
Hi, Leanne. So I've had the opportunity to play in lots of rinks throughout my life, but I have to agree with Chantelle. Like it's that hometown small arena, freezing arenas usually, and because I started playing hockey in Mabo, that's where I felt the most at home. Spent a lot of time, Marion, we spent a lot of time, and Sarah, at the Mabo Arena. And it just felt like home, really. You just felt comfortable on the ice. It just came natural, and so Mabo Arena.
I think I have to say the same. It was smaller, so you could, save your energy a lot easier. Go out hard, longer, I guess. Inverness, I found it way too cold. My feet always froze in Inverness rink. I don't know why. I liked Chestico Camp rink too. I thought Chestico Camp was a nice rink to play in. Yeah, so local rinks.
All right. The lovely Leanne MacDonald has come. Leanne MacDonald, I think if anybody followed hockey, women's hockey in the early 1990s, this is the poster child for that. What? You. Anyway, Leanne was our trend-setting lady when hockey was going on, and she had the hardest slap shot. Oh my goodness, Leanne could shoot that puck. So, Leanne, you're a little behind schedule here. So we're going to make you stand on the chair, and we're just going to ask you to introduce yourself to everyone, and if you could tell us your favorite arena of the 4,000 you played in your lifetime, what arena did you enjoy the most?
Well, I did play in a lot of rinks. The local ones are very nice, but I have to say, probably the Millennium Center is my favorite. Yeah. Just because we earned it.
Yes, true. That's right.
We spent a lot of years in a barn, basically.
Yeah.
We had other teams come play us at St. Evax. I played at St. Evax, if anybody doesn't know. And other teams would come and take pictures of the rink. You could see the rocks through the ice, and sometimes the game would be delayed because the rocks were coming through the ice. And the Millennium Center was earned.
Yes, absolutely it was. Absolutely. All right. So I guess too, Melissa could speak to this as well. When we started playing at SMU, we had like 10 o'clock ice time, 10 p.m. or 6 o'clock in the morning. Women's hockey was not a priority by any means. And, it was tough. And playing in the barn, I played in there for some unknown reason.
You borrowed your jerseys for CIS from the men's team.
Yes, we did. Yeah. And it was, we flew to Montreal. It was a pretty big deal. And we thoroughly enjoyed our trip. It was really, really fun. So, and it's true. Our local rinks, we've always had a lot of support. Bill Dunphy was definitely a very big support of our women's hockey here in Inverness County. But when we were talking about rinks, I was wondering if Jean Hatfield could raise her hand. Jean Hatfield and yes, her. There's Jean Hatfield. Jean and Bob Hatfield ran the canteen in Port Hood for a long, long time. And you couldn't beat their fries and their candies and hot chocolate. Oh, they had such a good canteen. I worked there too when I wasn't playing hockey. But Bob and Jean were a very big part of supporting hockey here in Port Hood. So thank you to Jean Hatfield for coming out today. We appreciate you being here. Really wonderful. All right. So ladies, next question for you. Besides me, who had the most influence on your hockey career? Leanne, you don't have to answer first because you just got here. But besides me, who? Now, Leanne, I just want to say this too. What year did you go to Grand Prairie to play hockey there? That was a long time ago. 1995. And you were in Grand Prairie playing hockey for, what was that? That was Canada Games? She was, oh my, look at these ladies rocking in. Fashionably late. Leave it to the Mabwers. Not on to see this is the portrait. That's right. No, yeah. They look at the look. Yes, stand up, ladies, please. Thank you. Yes, Turner. I know she did. Look at this. All right. This is Gail and Maria, DeBont and Donald. So do it. Yeah, they're Mabu on their back. Little bitterness here. It's okay. Okay, so we'll go back to the question again because they just came in and interrupted our whole train of thought, ladies. Who had the most influence on your hockey experience career besides me?
I'm not ready.
Not ready. She's not ready. Chantelle, Holly?
Okay, I'm not going to start. I'll start with not the last people, but my coaches definitely. Like we said, we started off with 3 terrific coaches. I see Tanya, your dad, and Alec Chooch. Great coaches. Then I see Sheila here. David MacDonald was something else. I'm saying he could get the best out of everybody all the time. And David McIsaac, they were true coaches for sure. Again, my Dal coaches, big influence. But I'm going to say my parents. Yeah. I say this to my kids all the time because I'm not nearly as nice as my parents are. But when I say that they never, and this is hard to say because of the way hockey is now and all that, they never once said anything negative. And that is not a lie. Like, to the point that I'd get in the car and they knew that, I was hard on myself. They knew not to say anything to upset me or anything. And they would never say anything. But my mother would say things like, well, honey, it just wasn't meant to be, maybe. Yeah. Or you'll get them next time, and then that would make me mad, right? But it was never anything like, you should have, or your coaches should have, or maybe if you did this. I've never once in my life heard that. And that's a big thing to say because I don't think I'm as nice as that.
There's a couple of go-tos that I have as well. And I'll have to start with the one on my left here. Leanne was a huge influence on me as a player. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. So Leanne, paved the way. Oh my God, what is happening to me?
Speak for yourself, Maria.
Literally soft as puppy shit. But anyway,
we don't swear in the museum.
What's that?
You can't say bad words.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm joking.
Lightning will come down. So Leanne paved the way, and for me as a defenseman, she would come on the ice with us sometimes and show us, little tidbits and skills, and I carried them with me throughout my whole hockey career. Oh my God. Yeah. I wish I would stop this because I'm not a pretty crier, at all. Anyway, I'll get it together. Leanne, huge, and getting to play with her last year. When we talk about muscle memory, and I know the brain has muscle tissue, it's not necessarily a muscle, but her knowledge of hockey and how she plays has remained. Also, a great coach that I had was Jen's dad, Paul MacInnis. He really believed. I had a lot of amazing coaches, but Paul, he believed in me, and that propelled me, to constantly want to do better and really listen as a player. I was very coachable. I do remember one time he asked me we were playing in Sackville, I think, with the Nova Scotia Raiders, and he said, Am, I think I'm gonna get you to play up. I want you to play right wing. I said, I will definitely do that, Paul, but you're going to regret it because I'm in like no man's land out there. I didn't know where my body needed to be. And he said, no, give it a shot. And so I went out there and I tried. And then I got back in the bench and he said, you know what, Am, I think I'm going to put you back on D. I said, I told you. But again, like Chantelle, my parents were a huge, huge influence on my hockey life. I wouldn't be playing today if it wasn't for them. Again, same thing, positive all the time. I was much harder on myself than anybody. And, like my mom and dad always said, like, as long as you had fun, babe, that's all that mattered. So thank you for that.
Well done. Thank you, parents. Yeah. Are you ready? There's Ambrah.
Thanks, Ambrah. Started the waterworks. My biggest influence, oh gosh, I think it's obviously my family. And just teammates, coaches. We had some great coaches. You learn a lot from good coaches and bad coaches. You learn a lot from good teammates, bad teammates. And I think that's the biggest thing is whatever situation you're in is learn something from it. And if you want to play, you want to play good, just look at your situation and adjust to it because you can't adjust others. So, yeah, just everybody I played with. I know it's not a great answer, but it's what I used.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Your turn.
I'd say my biggest influence was probably my sister Shelley, who also played women's hockey, but she played through the minor hockey system with boys. So it was called boys hockey at the time. So she played checking hockey in Bantam and went up through the ranks. So she was a huge influence. And by the time my other sister Karina and I started going up through the minor hockey system, we were older, but we always wanted to be like her because she was, I would say she was pretty good for her time going up through minor hockey and playing checking and being kind of with the boys, right? So it was kind of, yeah, she was tough. And she was tough on us, so. But yeah, lots of influences, lots of coaches that, like Leanne said, good and bad coaches, because you learned the way you felt, you should improve upon, or the way you didn't want to be as maybe a player or a coach. So that was important too. And lots of uncles and family and friends that were huge influences, that we'd get our gear from our uncles that were 300 pounds and you'd tie your pants on, right? So if you needed gear, you just, somebody would give you something. So it was lots of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think when you think of it, our time was so much simpler, right? And I mean, you'd go to Ian's store and you'd get an old wooden stick and you'd make that sucker last forever because you're not getting another stick. You already broke one this year, right? Like it was a big deal. And I mean, I know all of their parents and I know the influence the parents have on our careers and how much they enjoyed it just as much as we did, right? And there was a lot of sacrifice and we know that. And how much we enjoyed it. And I was just having a flashback to Chantelle. And a lot of the people that played hockey with me will remember my dad and his ridiculous behavior at a hockey rink. And he would always, if you knew my dad, he was very loud. And he'd always wear these big leather gloves. And he would run up and down the glass with the play. I don't. If he had a pedometer, he would have 25,000 steps in a hockey game, I bet you. And he'd scream to everybody, "You're doing so great! Oh, you're amazing! Oh!" And then I'd get up there, "Sandy, get in the car! Move your feet!" I'm like, I get in the car, and I wouldn't speak to him. Drove me frickin' crazy. Anyway, but I will speak to Paul MacInnis. I think anybody who ever played hockey for Paul MacInnis would say nothing but the absolute most wonderful things about him. He would take his Stora van And we'd load our butts in that van, and Paul would be like, oh God, all these girls and their gear and talking and everything else. And he was always laughing and happy and supportive. So a huge shout out to Paul MacInnis for all he did for women's hockey here in Cape Breton Island, especially here in Port Hood. So thank you, Paul. He was one of the really, really good ones. One thing I'll say, Melissa and Karina and I and Marsha Workop, we played for Lisa MacDonald, who is now Lisa, she was a Jordan, I guess, at the time. And her twin sister was our goaltender with Marsha Workop. And she is now the Canadian women's she's coaching for the Canadian women. She won gold with them. And really wonderful girl from New Glasgow. She and her sister, really, really wonderful people. So if you ever want to look up two awesome ladies, that was another really wonderful hockey coach in my lifetime. But all of them are good. I have no complaints about anybody. I had the very, very best. All right. Let me see here. Ooh, what is your best hockey memory? And if you say about beating Port Hood, you're out. There you go. Okay, Leanne, what's your best hockey memory?
Well, we bet Port Hood so much. Kind of became a... Just kidding. Actually, Jen sent me the questions, and I was just trying to think. I've had so many great memories. But this one does involve Port Hood. I do remember it was probably my first year midget hockey, girls midget hockey. And we didn't have enough in Mabu, so they ended up combining us with Port Hood. And there's only a handful of us from Mabu going to Port Hood, and we were devastated. We had to go play with Port Hood girls. And so anyway, we played the year. We were playing, and it was a great year. We made a lot of friends. You get to know everybody in Port Hood, and it was an awesome year. And we ended up winning provincials. And the Mabu girls had won before, but the Port Hood girls never got to experience it. And it was just awesome. It was pretty awesome to see how happy they were winning provincials. Yeah, so that was that.
I like that. All right.
Like Leanne said, Port Hood, we were second every year. I don't know. I have lots of great memories. Like you said, all the championships we made it. We made it usually to the final every year. And then one thing, I see Krista here. We would lose our championship game, and then to make it all better, Cecil and Mary Janet would take the entire team, parents, kids, everybody. It would be a Sunday afternoon, and we would be all up there playing guitars. They would make a big meal, unplanned, of course, and we would just make the best of it. So that is a memory and that wasn't one time, that was multiple years in a row. So that was my probably favorite memories.
I have a lot of great memories, and I'm getting a little bit of a draft here. I'm just going to get you to hold this. A little chilly in here. I'm so glad you guys wore your gear. But yeah, so one of them was getting to win provincials with our team. It was amazing, and we won a couple of provincials. So that was amazing. And, teammates here, like D partners, Gail and Maria are there, Jamie are there, Marion. Who am I missing? But yeah, a lot of incredible memories for that. I can think of one Jen and I were talking about last night. And she said that her dad talks about this sometimes. As a defenseman, I was always really protective of my goalie. And we were playing against a Sydney team, in Port Hood. I'll never forget it. It was like it was yesterday. And this player kept, I think it was Eugenie that was on the ice at the time as our goalie. And they kept poking at her. And so I just really wanted to get, in front of her. But she ended up kind of like popping me in the face even after like the play went down the ice. And I was like, what the? And so I said, do you want to go? And I want to preface this by saying, like, I am not a violent person at all. I consider myself more of a pacifist, really. And but something came over me because, And so I said, do you want to go? And she popped me in the head again. And so before I knew it, I had her in a headlock, and I was peppering her. I mean, we have masks on, we have shields, and I was peppering her in the face. And I thought, oh my God! And Errol, Jen's cousin, was reffing, and he blew the whistle, and he sent us both to the box, and he was trying to keep from laughing, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, my dad's gonna be so disappointed, and Paul's gonna be so disappointed. So I tried to keep like a serious face on, even though I wanted to die laughing at what I just did. And so I looked over at my dad, and my dad was laughing, and I was like, okay, I'm good there. And then I looked up at Paul on my way to the box, and he was just laughing and shaking his head. I said, oh, okay, I'm good. So that's one of my funnest memories.
I think my favorite memory still has to be back in 1992 when we hosted the first provincials for minor hockey. And I see Norma and Epi and who else is here? Tanya and Leanne and Chantelle. Like, there was so many people that were involved in that, and it felt like the Stanley Cup was being hosted in Mabu because half of everybody's town was there. There was, Shetty Camp, Mabu, Port Hood, Inverness, and a Sydney team. And we felt like we made it. And I remember being so excited because we got to wear the high school boys hockey jerseys because we didn't have, it was kind of a team that was put together it was the first provincials happening that year, so we didn't really have minor hockey jerseys, and everybody was kind of just really excited about it. Gail's wearing our first shirt, and I think it's Peter Rankin's artistic work on it. So that's the, she can, yeah. It's pretty vintage. You must use Tide. But yeah, it was, and just the whole community was involved, and it was kind of the start to something I think really special for a lot of people, and it really kick-started kind of a movement that people really felt, oh, this is something that, we can continue and carry on. So yeah, lots of fun. And Leanne, even though you were a lot of years younger than us, you were the superstar of our team, and it was pretty exciting. And really nice. I remember winning, and games started getting closer and closer. And there was such an age gap. Like, that was 33 years ago, and there was 13-year-olds playing against 16, 17-year-olds. So when you see that age gap, there's a huge difference, right, in the size, even though I don't know how our skill level, well, maybe we were good skaters, but our skill level, like, compared to today, I don't know. I think they'd kick our asses. But yeah, it had to start somewhere, so it was lots of fun.
Very good. I'm very impressed. We've had a lot of people bring some stuff out of the archives, like old newspaper clippings from like 30 years ago, and how much obviously it meant to our parents that they saved all of these things. My parents, mine are long gone, but though we never had a provincial jacket. These girls keep flaunting in our faces, but that's okay. We're bigger people. We invited you here. Look, she even got a puck here, if that is.
So this is, my dad's kind of a pack rat, but Tanya, you'd remember this. This was the first official puck drop from the provincials. He saved it, so he labeled it. So it was kind of interesting to,
It is.
think that he said he remembers they were all panicked because they didn't have an official puck. So he said, I remember running over to the bench and just grabbing some crappy old puck, and they just used it to drop. So he said, I kept it in my pocket and labeled it. So it was kind of cute.
See, good parents.
That's going in the archives.
It is. The museum's gonna have it. There you go. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go a little off script here just to mess with your minds. I'm going to ask you a question that's not on here. If you were to go back 30 years ago, what would you tell your 12, 13-year-old self about hockey? Leanne.
Wow.
That's a tough one. Anybody have an answer that can answer it? I guess I would just say keep playing. Like, it's like at the time it was, I don't know, it was just the beginning. And like for me, I was lucky. I started playing with the boys when I was 5. So hockey wasn't necessarily new to me, but playing with girls was. And it was just a different world. It really changed my life. Gave me a lot of opportunity. So just keep playing.
Yeah, I kind of agree too. I feel like hockey was definitely different for us compared to it is now. I just feel like there's a lot of opportunities now, and it is very competitive. It was always competitive, but competitive in the sense that there's all these extra sessions to do, and and parents and kids are, there's pressure to make sure their kids are doing everything. Nobody wants to be left out, and we didn't necessarily have all those extra opportunities. But I think in a different way, we were more active in other ways. Like I lived on a street with 30 kids. I played road hockey before school, after school, till, and there was mostly boys. So like I was with boys playing road hockey. So I think those skills kind of transferred into hockey. So it's different, like with the skating and whatnot. But I remember Shetty Camp always had like the best skaters because they had like power skating. We didn't even know what power skating was, but I remember they had power skating. But now every other team has power skating now, So I think for me, I loved the game and I had a passion for it, and I still do. I would play every day if I could. But I seen this thing on TikTok, and I always said, what separates an elite, athlete to like a regular athlete or whatever is you have to do it. You want to do it for yourself. Like you have to push yourself. You can't be, I tell my you tell your kids to go take extra shots. You take, go pitch more pitches and that sort of thing. But you can't put that in a person. It's either you have the passion or you don't. And that kind of does separate kids. And, you see that. And not that every kid has to do that. You don't, if you don't want to do those things and whatever, but I think just having the passion and, starting out as a young child and having that passion and, keeping forward. And like I said, I love the game. I love coaching the game. I love watching the game, and I'll play until I possibly can.
So if I had to go back 30 years and tell myself something, one thing I'd be like, practice your shot more. I think you said that. But I'd also tell myself that hockey is going to shape you. Hockey is going to shape you into the person you're going to become. And that's really what it did. So I consider myself really lucky to have had hockey be such a big part of my life. And not to take myself too seriously. That was a big one. And that's it.
I think I'd tell my younger self to maybe think and shut your mouth. Because I think sometimes I didn't think enough when I was out there. I was just too much in the moment or something and not thinking. And if I was more of a thinker, I think I would have been a better player. So slow down and think. And just don't be so reactionary. Like I see it in kids when I coach them now. It's like if you just think a little bit more, don't react, take your time, slow it down, everything would be a little more, flow. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Okay, so I think we can all say in the crowd, we all have a few teammates at one time or another that are here. So if everybody who played hockey, any of the ladies in our communities, could they please stand up? Just that's all you have to do, stand in your spot. I just want everybody to see the influence hockey has had on our community. So if you could all stand, there's a bunch of you here that used to play hockey. Take a gander at the crowd. All right. Okay. And that's only a smidgen of the people that are impacted by hockey here in Inverness County and beyond. So I know we only have a couple minutes left, but is there anybody in the audience who has a question they would really like to ask of any of these four lovely ladies that are sitting here in front of you? Oh, Jen MacInnis, Jennifer Moore. Okay.
Oh, like my origin story. Okay. Sure, I can share that briefly. Okay. So when I can. I just listened to the other. So, like I said, my figure skating career wasn't going anywhere, and I made an announcement to my mom and dad in the kitchen one day that I wanted to play hockey. And our neighbor from over the road was there, my younger brother's godfather, Angus Campbell. Some of you may know him. And so my dad said, okay, we'll check the Bargain Hunter for some gear. And we'll get you signed up next season. And so Angus was adamant. He said, if Ambrah's going to play hockey, she needs a new set of blades, not hand-me-downs. And some of you have probably heard the story because I nominated him for an Arthur Award on Stuart McLean's Final Cafe. And so we were on the radio years ago. Anyway, so my parents, tried to hee and haw about it, but he said, nope, this Friday we'll go to Canadian Tire in Port Hawkesbury and we're going to get a new set of blades. And this guy knew everything about hockey. He had never married, but, he was a dedicated fan and he was important to our family. So we piled in the car and went to Canadian Tire, found some skates, but then he took a cart and he started saying, try this on. And I was fully prepared to get secondhand gear. My older brother had played hockey, and we literally used to put sponges in his, like he was a goalie, and we used to put sponges in his top gear. So I was fully prepared for that. But Angus insisted on me trying on all these pieces. And by the time we got out of there, the cart was full. And he would not take no for an answer. And so we promised that we would pay him back. He didn't want to hear anything about it. Only that if I needed a ride to hockey or let him know when games were, and that was it. And so I still have some of those pieces of hockey gear, and I still wear them today. I still have the same elbow pads, and they have whole ecosystems living within them because they're nasty. But yeah, so that's I wouldn't have had the experience of hockey if not for Angus. So shout out to Angus
Campbell.
He's 94 now.
That's lovely. I like that. I don't think any of us owned any new equipment ever. Like, do you remember having anything new, Leanne? Do you remember anything? I wore my dad's Cooperalls. That was not pretty. That was really not pretty. Yeah, for a long time. It was a long. It took a while. Yeah, right. We all wore your cousins' hand-me-downs that they wore, and they even tried to give us cups and the whole bit. Good try, guys. Yeah, maybe another time. Not gonna happen. All right. Any more questions from anybody in the audience? Anyone? No? Oh, sure. You go ahead, Robert.
I'm Jennifer's uncle, so spent a lot of nights talking to her on the phone about her research and trying to do some stuff. And I was fortunate enough to coach girls hockey. And the one thing that's in this room is passion. And that's what you got to pass through.
Thank you, Robert. 100%. Yeah, we had a lot of good times, a lot of good memories. I'm looking at people and I'm thinking, when we all come in, we're all hugging each other. And there's a lot of hotel rooms that we shared together, and you're sharing dressing rooms with people, and a lot of ice time shared. And I'll always be a Port Hooder. And I'll always be mad at Mabu. But I love the Mavers. I do. And we all connected with each other. And once we left our little rivalries, you know, like there's still that little burning, right? But we're proud of everyone here, the four of you, and all you guys have done. The trend setting you've done for women's hockey in Inverness County is remarkable. And the rest of you ladies that are in this room, right, who were starting off and got it going for our girls because they're still doing it today, right? And how much they enjoy it, and they're playing high school hockey. That wasn't a thing when we were in school, most of us, right? And so how fortunate we are. So I just want to extend a great big thank you to Jennifer MacInnis. Oh, another question. Ooh, is it Lou? Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, that is a good question.
Not fair. I think, well, like Robert said too, like passion, like you have to love the game, and be coachable. And I say, like, thank your coaches. And I said, without coaches, there'd be no opportunities. So like none of this would have been established. And coaching does take a lot of time. And it's a big commitment. And I know Leanne said it and Melissa mentioned too, you're going to have good coaches and you're going to have bad coaches, but you need to be coachable. That's the biggest thing I'm going to say. And that'll bring along the passion and the desire to want to play. But I think being coachable and the passion are the two key things for sure.
And Marissa, I'm just going to add to that. Before you guys arrived, I was talking about Chantelle's hard work ethic on the ice. She's one of the hardest working hockey players I've ever played with, and that she's still one of the hardest working players, but now there's carbon copies of her on the ice in the form of you guys, so that's fun to play against. But yeah, so I just wanted to add to that.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, Johnny the Barber. All right. It's okay, Johnny. I accept it. Yeah. We're together, you and I, Johnny. It's good. Yes.
But anyway, it brought so much fun, and we enjoyed it. We still do. The memories are there. It's just a wonderful thing. And I know see the kids, Kristen's out there, and all you women are involved with kids and coaching, and it's all coming back, multiplied. It's great.
It is.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Yes.
Not a lot. And thanks for Jennifer. And her father, Paul, kind of got me involved with it.
Yes.
And I agree with that.
No.
It's all been great.
Johnny the Barber was a very positive influence on the bench. That's for sure.
Johnny was one of the most positive and calming voices on the bench that I ever experienced. So shout out to Johnny. He's
Johnny
always,
the Barber, 100%. Oh. All right. Anybody who wants to vent about Portland and Mabel later, Portland, stay here. Hours can go. We'll get it out of our system for Chestico Days. I'm starting to fight down at the Pig and Whistle, Johnny. Now we get her going Friday night. Taking it on. Oh, sorry. Another question? Mm-hmm.
You know, people always went to watch the boys, like even as female hockey players, like we would have huge crowds. And one that sticks out in my memory the most was when we hosted in Abu. And I remember the championship game. I think we went into double overtime, we won. But you know what actually sticks out the most for me was there was like the rink couldn't fit another person. There were people hanging over the glasses, and like boys and men that were older than us, like my sisters, my classmates. That's actually what I remember the most from playing. It's just like so much support.
Yes. And well, even like when when the bees used to be in Port Hood, right? And the bees would come and be so exciting because they'd come early to practice and they'd watch you, and then you'd have like so excited that these people were watching you play, and like, yeah. Oh, and we were superstars. No one skate faster than we could during that time, right? But and I know, like Johnny said, my dad always talked about after we started playing hockey, and even as I was not playing hockey any longer, he said he'd rather watch women play hockey than men. He'd say the skill was there. There's no stupid stuff. Although he was a dirty hockey player, I was told. But he always just said it was about skill, not about hitting and punching, unless you're Ambrah, who's taking people down. We would never do that. So I just want to say thanks to Jennifer MacInnis, really, to you, everybody at UBC, as you CBU. I need to go back to, Anyway, thank you very much for hosting this. Thank you to our 4 lovely ladies for answering all of our questions and being here and telling their truths, and even a couple little sooks. It's okay. That's all right. We're not judging you. All right. And just want to thank Joanne and the museum for hosting this. And we want you all to participate in Chestico Days and come down. Johnny and I got the pig and whistle ready Friday night. Going to look after things down there. So thank you all. Thank you for all you do for women's hockey. Keep it up. Keep the passion alive. We're proud of everything that's happened here in Inverness County, and we want it to continue. So thank you all very much for everything you've done.